Hey fellow artists, I'm here with a leg fiddle update. So, I recently found out that contouring is the hardest part of woodworking. This leg fiddle headstock ain't never going to be symmetrical, but I think I'm okay with that. Here's the overall look. It isn't too bad. Now, let's get this guy fitted into the box lid. Okay, so I'm now planning the leg fiddle neck assembly. This little wrench is marking where my bridge should be. This is 17 inches from where the nut is supposed to be. So I've been playing around with fingerboard slants and heights to see if I can get enough clearance for bow around the cigar box, and I think I've arrived at a good solution. Here I'm planning to make a 1-inch block. This plus this will give me a 1-inch block to slant my fingerboard, and then I measured from here to here, and I have a little less than 2 inches of height. So I'm planning for a bridge that is a little over 2 inches in height. Now, when I was playing my regular cigar box guitars as leg fiddles, I found I didn't need too much clearance around the box for the bow to move freely. Again, I won't know until I assemble it and try to play it. Okay, onward. Let's keep going. Okay, so I got my fingerboard blocks curing, and I can't do any shaping of the fingerboard until this is fully cured. So we're gonna skip over and work on the saddle bridge. So I glued together 2 blocks onto a longer block to assemble. The height here in total is 2 inches. And then I'm going to add a bolt, and after sanding and shaping, it'll be a little more than 2 inches in height. Now I glued the first 2 blocks on a long block so that I can safely shape the bridge with my belt sander. And now for the fingerboard, you could see that I dug out a bit of a trench for my nut. I want to have the lowest action as possible to make this as easy to play as possible. And yes, I am going to install my movable frets onto the fingerboard. Okay, so I'm back in the workshop and I just finished contouring the top of the fingerboard so that it matches the contour of the neck of this leg fiddle. What I want to do next is mark off my fret positions with a wood burner, and something else that I'm going to do to help myself play this first leg fiddle. It's going to have 1/5 or do sol tuning. Second string is going to be a perfect fifth above the first string. I'm going to mark some scale degrees on the fingerboard so that I can find the notes I want more easily. Now these are going to conform to equal temperament, and I am planning to add movable frets onto here, but these are just guidelines just to help me get started. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to mark off my fret positions using this chart that I got on CB Giddy's store. This is a 17-inch scale instrument, so I'm going to line it up with the second fretboard on the chart. Okay, so I lined up my fingerboard like so onto the chart, making sure that the bottom of the nut diagram and the bottom of my nut line up, and then I'll just mark my fret positions with a pencil. Okay, so I penciled in my fret markers, and rather than use numeric scale degree markers like what I do on my CBGs, I'm going to use the equivalent movable do solfeggio to make my instrument look more classique, but give me the same information. Now you guys are wondering, why do I say sol instead of so? Originally, the solfeggio was sol and not so, like in the song from The Sound of Music. I could call do ut because do was originally ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. The solfeggio symbols are from a song by Guido de Arezzo, who invented solfeggio, and the song's lyrics went like So, ut quea laxis, re sonare fibris, mi ragestorum, fa mulituorum, solve polluti, labi reatum, and then it ended Sancte Johannes. That's where the solfeggio symbols came from. And the song that he wrote was used to teach people the relationships between the scale degrees. These syllables were never meant to represent specific frequencies. They were originally meant to represent relationships. And that's how I like to use them. Now, there's many types of solfeggio systems. I prefer the movable dough system. And when we get back to our CBG tutorials, I will talk more about it. Oh, Joser came to visit me in the workshop. Hello, my Poochie Poo. Hello. You asleep there? Okay. Alrighty, so here are my wood-burned fret and scale degree markers. Had I planned this a little better, I would have done this with my laser engraver and would have gotten, first of all, consistent looking font and nicer looking font for my solfeggio. But it is what it is. I'll fix it in the next project. Okay, so I used my belt sander to contour saddle bridge, and it has a little bit of a support here. I'm going to cut this off, do a little bit more sanding. Now the distance between here and here is 2 inches, and then adding the bolt on the top is going to give it the perfect height for my strings, hopefully. You're probably thinking, hey, well, you're going to put a bolt on top of that? That means it's going to be a straight bridge. Yes, this is only 2 strings, so I don't need to make a curved bridge. Okay, I got this raised bridge ready to go. Let's assemble all the parts and see where we're at so far. Let's get this leg fiddle assembled. And the bridge, this is more or less 17 inches from the nut. And there you have it, folks. So what's next on the docket? Well, I need to stain and poly all the parts here. I gotta super glue this bolt onto my bridge to give me the precise height that I need. I plan to do some gold leaf detailing on the headstock, on the end of the fingerboard, and on the tailpiece to match what I did on the box here. I need to drill my string holes in the tailpiece. This is going to be a 2-string fiddle. Need to drill a hole for my audio output jack. Yes, this is going to be a piezo amped leg fiddle. And I do have plans on flattening the frequency response on my piezo preamp, because right now with the electrolytic capacitor setup I have, it's sucking up a lot of high frequencies, and we want to hear what this guy really sounds like. We want to hear all the crispy highs and beautiful lows it can create, and that will also benefit my CBGs as well. I plan to make a lot of recordings with this leg fiddle, although the guitar amps I own have tone controls and I can fix tone problems on the fly. When it comes to recording my piezo amp CBGs, I always go through my piezo preamp before going into the interface, because it's not only tone issues, it's also level issues. It's going to be necessary for me to upgrade my preamp and flatten the frequency response so that I can get the truest sound from this leg fiddle when I record it through my interface into my DAW. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this little progress report. I will have more leg fiddle updates coming up soon. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching and chaito!